The second mass vaccination clinic in Joplin was canceled. We'll tell you about the plans for a new one. The Ozark Center receives a grant for a suicide prevention lifeline.
President Biden visits workers producing the COVID vaccine. I'm Natalie Brand with his trip to Michigan, plus where new mass vaccination centers are opening next.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Joplin City officials say a second dose mass vaccine clinic is getting closer to being rescheduled. This is KOAM News at 5. In January, 1,000 residents were vaccinated at a mass vaccine clinic held in conjunction with the Missouri National Guard. The clinic to get those people's second doses was supposed to happen today, but it had to be canceled because of the weather. Ryan Talkin with the health department says they have most of the pieces in place to get the clinic scheduled, but can't announce anything until everything is set in stone.
The process in that involves several agencies, and so everybody has to coordinate. We're working through it. We're getting really close to being able to have all of the different pieces in place.
Tonight at 6, we'll hear more about all of the pieces that have to fall in place to make the clinic happen, and from a resident who is frustrated about the situation. Snow is starting to slowly melt out there. Doug Hetty joins us.
Yeah, slowly is definitely the key. We still have a snowpack of, I would say, 5 to about 7 inches across the region. Sun did help a little bit for us today, but still we have a pretty thick snowpack, and we've had some clouds that have rolled in over the past couple hours. We're going to stay dry, but we are going to see these clouds as we go through the evening hours for us tonight and then into the overnight hours. So partly cloudy skies. Temperatures made a run at the freezing mark. We're sitting into the upper 20s to near 30 degrees, so definitely a lot better than what we have seen, and wind chill factor sitting mainly into lower 20s at this point in time. Throughout the evening hours, we'll slide back through the 20s and eventually upper teens for us tonight, so not near as cold as what we have had over the past couple nights. Of course, we're going to look into the weekend, all coming up here in just a bit.
All right, Doug, thank you. Neosho County residents, you don't have to boil your water anymore. The KDHE rescinded an order that came after a loss of pressure in the system. The KDHE lab tested water samples from Rural Water District 4 and found no contamination. The Ozark Center received the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline's 988 State Planning Grant. Now, Ozark Center will collaborate with state leadership, suicide prevention experts, people with lived experience, and others to create a 988 implementation plan and support Lifeline's operational, clinic, and performance standards that allow access to care. Now, that number won't be fully implemented until 2022, and when that happens, Ozark Center officials say it will help provide some simplicity for people going through a complex situation.
It's really going to allow our staff to have additional training, meet capacity, figure out estimates, what it could be, and then just be prepared fully.
Again, the number won't be implemented until summer of 2022. In the meantime, if you need help, you can call 1-800-273-TALK. And that's 1-800-273-8255. Well, the extreme cold we've been facing is starting to go away. The snow hasn't yet, leaving many people needing a tow truck when their vehicle gets stuck. We spoke with one tow truck driver who explains the dangers he faces while saving others.
Standard police, and they just, from time to time, just get blatantly ignored. I quite literally went to go load up one yesterday and had about 4 or 5 instances where if I would not have gotten out of the way, I'd have gotten hit.
Now, coming up at 6, we'll hear more from Robert about his life as a tow truck driver. Today, President Biden is touring a COVID-19 vaccine production facility in Michigan along with the state's governor, Gretchen Whitmer. His COVID response team is calling for all hands on deck to deal with vaccine shortages and appointment cancellations brought on by severe winter weather. Natalie Brand reports from Capitol Hill, where there could be movement on the president's COVID relief package in the coming days.
President Biden toured Pfizer's largest manufacturing facility outside Kalamazoo, Michigan, where he met with workers producing the COVID-19 vaccine.
We have the needles, so come on up.
The visit comes as winter weather has snarled vaccine shipments across the country, complicating the ongoing concerns over supply.
As of now, we have a backlog of about 6 million doses due to the weather.
The White House COVID response team says shipping companies will take up Saturday deliveries. The team is also calling on facilities administering the vaccine to offer extended hours and additional appointments to catch up.
If we all work together, from the factory all the way to the vaccinators, we will make up for it in the coming weeks.
Also in coming weeks, the Biden administration says it will open 5 more federal state mass vaccination sites in Florida and Pennsylvania. While the Biden administration works to ramp up vaccine distribution, the president continues to push for his nearly $2 trillion COVID relief package now in the hands of Congress. House GOP leaders sent a memo to its members recommending a no vote on the legislation, claiming the measure is rushed, that it bails out blue states, and that the funding for schools does not guarantee they'll be reopened for in-person learning.
It's about resources.
The House could vote on the bill as soon as next week. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Now, federally supported state mass vaccination sites have also been announced for Texas and New York after the first 2 opened earlier this week in California. Also today, Dr. Anthony Fauci told reporters that data on vaccine studies for children aged 12 to 17 years old will come sometime in the fall. Data on elementary school age children won't likely come until next year. And that's a look at our top stories and a quick check of the forecast on the KOAM News at 5. Still ahead, during this pandemic, have you ever felt like letting it all out? Well, we'll tell you about a new approach to let off some steam. Plus,
baby boom or baby bust? I'm Naomi Ruckham with how the pandemic is impacting the next generation of newborns.
From the start of the pandemic, there were predictions of a baby boom, with many couples stuck at home and little else to do. But as it turns out, in some cases, the pandemic and economic struggles have led to some Americans to hold off on family planning. Naomi Ruckham explains why the country is experiencing a baby boom and a baby bust all at the same time.
When the pandemic hit, Jen Surma and her husband thought about waiting to expand their family.
I think it was just really the unknowns of COVID at the time that had us kind of take a pause and think about if this was the right thing to do.
But wanting their children to be close in age, they decided to try and got pregnant with baby number 2.
It's been good from kind of has slowed life down and made it a little bit more comfortable.
Jen is part of what some hospitals in the U.S. are seeing as a baby boom, including Community Hospital North in Indianapolis, where deliveries are up 30% compared to this time last year and are expected to spike to 70% by March.
I think on one shift I delivered 8 babies in a day, so it was a busy day, but it's kind of great.
Hospitals in Kentucky, Tennessee, and Illinois have also reported more births.
And while pockets of the country are seeing many more bumps like mine, analysts predict nationwide the pandemic is more likely to cause a baby bust.
It's a stressful time that we live in. Stress is not great for thinking like, gee, I'd like to have a baby right now.
In an estimate published by the Brookings Institute, economics professor Philip Levine predicts the pandemic will result in 300,000 fewer births.
There's issues with daycare, school closings, relationship formation.
For Jen, a pandemic pregnancy has been anything but ordinary.
It's kind of hit me more recently that it's just going to be a really interesting story to tell him.
And now that he's arrived, it's one for the history books this growing family won't soon forget. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News.
Well, the birth rate in the U.S. was on the decline before the pandemic, and if the trend continues, some experts worry this could lead to a shrinking workforce and economy. But you could say this next story is a real scream. We won't scream. We might scream. Depends on how this goes. As some people in Israel are taking a new approach to blowing off steam during the lockdown. CBS's Ian Lee reports from London.
Call it crying out against COVID or lifting the lockdown blues. Either way, they shout to let it all out.
We decided to meet our group together in order to take the group scream so that we can release our bad energies from the lockdown.
Israel is on the path to ending the pandemic. More than half of the country has been partially or fully vaccinated. So not social distancing like this is becoming more socially acceptable.
Don't be afraid to raise your voice and to shout if you want!
With COVID cases dropping, government officials are starting to lift lockdown restrictions. Schools are open, gyms, malls, and restaurants will follow shortly. For some, it's just the ability to hang out again with friends.
Today we are shouting freedom!
Breaking free from COVID confinement to celebrate life once more. Ian Lee, CBS News.
We're trying to determine if this is going to work, so after our show, we'll do it, and we'll let you know at 6 if the screaming released some tension. Well, Israel's government is establishing a green badge system where only people who have been fully vaccinated or recovered from COVID can enjoy leisure activities. That's a look at today's health news. A little later on the KOAM News at 5.
These aren't the baseball cards from your childhood. I'm Nancy Chin with how sports trading cards are booming during the pandemic, and some are now worth millions.
Well, at least a little bit warmer for us today. We had mostly sunny skies through the morning hours, and then some clouds have rolled in over the past few hours, so partly cloudy skies for us tonight. We're also going to see some patchy freezing fog. That's usually not a huge deal on the roadways, but we are going to get some fog throughout the overnight hours for us tonight. Rain chances Sunday, rain or snow chances, or both, by the time we head into next Wednesday and Thursday. Of course, you can always get my long-range forecast on my month-long blog. That is KOAMnewsnow.com. All right, so we have been in the deep freeze now for 13 days. 13 days in a row we have been below freezing. We made a run at it today. We got to about 29. The official high may be 30, but that is 312 hours that we have been below freezing. So a very long time. Hopefully, we'll break that streak here in the next 24 hours. Upper 20s to near 30 across the region. Yates Center at 32, 34 in Miami, 31. And Neosho, Nevada is sitting at 28 degrees. Not a huge wind chill, but it does feel a little bit cooler than what it is. Wind chill factors right now about 20 to about 22 degrees. And through the evening hours, we'll slide back through the 20s. And then we'll bottom out upper teens for overnight lows. So not as cold as what we have seen over the past couple of nights. So that's good news. We've had some clouds rolling in, nothing underneath the clouds, so we are going to stay dry, but we are going to have partly cloudy skies as we go through the overnight hours for us tonight as a weak little wave passes to our north. Out to the west, our next storm system is building out across the Pacific Northwest, and this system will start to affect us late tomorrow night and then heading into Sunday. So let's go through time. For us tonight, we are going to have that patchy fog. We'll drop back into the upper teens for overnight lows. Saturday, pretty good. We're going to break the freezing mark. We're going to do some really substantial melting during the daytime hours for us tomorrow. I think most of us about 41. So pretty good. We're actually going to start at 18, but 35 by noon. High temp of 41 degrees. So pretty good. Clouds increase tomorrow night. May get a little bit of drizzle late tomorrow night into Sunday morning, but I think temperatures will be at or just above freezing, so I don't expect any issues, at least on the roadways. Then we'll get scattered showers throughout the daytime hours on Sunday. High temperatures still into lower 40s. This system will pass on by. It'll be a cold night Sunday night, but Monday looks pretty good as well, as we'll go into the upper 40s for highs. So let's go down the road. Here's Tuesday. Tuesday, fantastic, pushing 60. And then on Wednesday, we get a storm system in here that will give us a few showers, and then we could get a little bit of snow on the backside, so we'll have to keep our eyes on that as we head into Thursday. Not a big system, but something we want to watch as we work through the next several days. All right, so let's go 18 tonight, 41 tomorrow, 42 as we head into Sunday, and my 7-day is off there by 1 day, but it'll be 49 Monday and then 58 by Tuesday. I'll fix that here in just a second.
Hey, I'm fine with these temperatures whatever day they hit. I'm ready to get out of this deep freeze.
Yeah, I can't wait to get above freezing.
Me either. But I know you love the snow, Doug, so I'm sure this has been a lot of fun for you.
Yeah, I love the snow, but once it's done, I'm ready to get rid of it.
I hear you. Doug, thank you so much. And we take this time now to honor one of our many 4-state heroes. Corporal Franklin Bond served with the Army in Germany from 1953 to 55 with the 22nd Infantry, his hometown Fredonia. And we are proud to recognize Corporal Franklin Bond, tonight's four-state hero. The sports trading card business has been surging during the pandemic as some collectors pick up a new hobby and others return to a childhood favorite. Nancy Chen shows us what's behind the boom.
Adam Thomas's sports card store in Oklahoma has been busier than ever.
I've been in this, industry over 30 years and had the store over 22 years, and I've never seen more kids come in the store than this year.
S&S Sports Cards was closed to the public for 3 months at the height of the pandemic, but the store still managed to double its profits last year.
People have had more time on their hands. People are wanting to relive stuff that made them feel good when they were a kid.
The demand currently far outweighs supply.
Mark Warsop is CEO of Panini America, the largest trading card manufacturer in the world.
If you haven't collected trading cards in 20 years, come and take another look. You can buy trading cards with precious gems inside, trading cards made of precious metals.
There's also an element of luck in finding out what's inside a pack. These so-called pulls are often streamed on social media, attracting younger collectors.
Even a basic pack bought for a few dollars may contain a limited stock card worth thousands, and the value only goes up from there. In January, a Mickey Mantle baseball card sold for a record $5.2 million. But the NFL and NBA are fueling the growth in sports trading cards. A signed Patrick Mahomes card auctioned for $861,000 last month.
Don't treat everything as an investment or as a get-rich-quick scheme. Collect what you like, whether that's a player or a team or a type of card, and enjoy the hobby.
And always remember the simple joy in the luck of the draw. Nancy Chen, CBS News, New York.
The Panini sales at Walmart and Target have grown 500% compared to the year before. Well, as mentioned earlier, President Joe Biden touched down at the Kalamazoo Battle Creek International Airport in Air Force One this afternoon before he headed to Portage, Michigan. Now, Portage's Pfizer facility is not only making history, but saving lives around the world. The Portage plant was the first in the United States to distribute an effective COVID-19 vaccine in December of last year. 2 months later, Portage is making its mark as one of the first sites for a presidential visit in the Biden administration. Pfizer continues to be a leader in the fight against COVID-19, with 200 million doses of the vaccine expected to be delivered in the United States by this summer. Biden is scheduled to tour the manufacturing operation at Pfizer and then make a public address from the plant before returning to Washington, D.C. We've got a final check of your forecast right after this. The CBS Evening News is next. Then on KOAM News at 6, what's next for the second mass vaccination clinic that was canceled in Joplin? Plus, how tow truck drivers are keeping up with increased demand following the snow. And we'll have more on the grant the Ozark Center received to aid in suicide prevention resources. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Well, it's a cold week to be a mail carrier, but one Louisville, Kentucky postal worker made sure to have a little fun. Take a look here. And we're told this mailman is Teron Goree. Now, on his way down the stairs from Cashel Wilson's front porch in Louisville, he stops to do a cartwheel and then plops down on his back to make a snow angel. And Doug, even though it's warming up, there's still plenty of snow out there to make some snow angels. I don't know about the cartwheels, though.
Yeah, I mean, we still have a snowpack of like 5 to 8 inches, and we didn't get to freezing today. We didn't make a run at it, but we should surpass that as we head into the daytime hours tomorrow. So let's go down to about 18 tonight, 41 tomorrow, 42 on Sunday. We're going to have some light showers and drizzle, but pushing 60 by Tuesday.
Well, you said let's go down to 18 tonight. I'm not so sure about going down to 18 tonight, but if you say we have to, then I guess we will. So that's our time for now. We're going to see you right back here at 6. Thank you for making us part of your night.